what I want to do first is this real formal, just when were you born?
December 28th, 1930. The twin, myself, my name is Myron Thomas, and my twin brother is Byron Thomas. And we were born, we set a world record. I weighed 11 3/4, he weighed 12 1/4. And there was already 4 kids here. My older brother, my sister, Jean, and Wilbur Bryce, and Marvin Seth, and Siboney Max. Brother named my brother Siboney. You imagine that? He was a Marine and come back from Europe in World War I on a ship called the Siboney. And nobody knows where that name come from. The name of the ship, well, there was a bay down in Cuba, the Bay of Siboney. But anyway.
Hold for a second, please.
Okay. So you and your brother were the 5th and 6th.
5th to 6th. And then I got a brother named Earl, the guy you met. The guy with the beard. Now he was born 13 months after. Imagine that. And we lived in a little old 2-bedroom plain shack house right out here west of my pasture, west of Mullinville, Kansas. And you don't know what poor is. Honest to God. You can't even spell poor. Well, we made it.
So was that all of your siblings?
Yeah.
Earl was the last one.
Earl was the last one.
Okay. Now, how did your folks come to be here in Mullinville?
Well, my mother was a Britzing, and it was a Prussian. The name Britzing, they came from Prussia, and that was on the maternal side. They came from Switzerland. The Britzings came over here in 17 or 1840s, I'd say, and then that's on. But my great-grandmother came over here in 1841. She was a Hulaman, and we got her bread plate. She got married on the ship, coming over here, and the captain of the ship gave her the bread. I got it, and I'm going to give this bread plate away to a descendant. I'm not going to keep it in my family. I'll give it to somebody else. Okay.
And then, so did your father move out here?
My father was raised out here in the sod. Was born out here, and was raised in a sod house over here, a place called the Jackson place. My grandfather came through here. My grandfather, Thomas Milton Liggett, came through here in 1882 as a runaway boy, and he got this far. Railroad track stopped here. He took a buggy and he went to Denver and caught the Transcontinental Railroad to California, and he worked up and down the coast on steamers, not probably sailboats. And then he came back through here in 1786. And did you know, when the old man had died, they had tape recorders and nobody taped that old man, Thomas Milton. My God, how much history is buried out there, and nobody knows. And they had 2 kids. My father was Wilbur Earl, and he was born in January 3rd, 1896, and then Thomas Watson, it was his brother. And my grandmother, Thomas Milton, when they came back through here in 1886, then he went back to Edgerton, Missouri, and got my grandfather, my great-grandfather, John Dillard, and they settled out, got a homestead up here north of Mullinville. And they tell the story that in the summer of 1895, they were threshing wheat with a threshing machine, and this liveried buggy showed up with this maiden in it. I assume it was August of 1895. And the livery buggy showed up with this maiden in it, Minnie Isidore Denny. And they went over, talked to my grandpa, and they left. And he got on the buggy and left with her, and he came back married. My father was born 5 months later. So I guess a little hanky-panky went on those days.
And you said something about your father had been had been a renter or a sharecropper?
Sharecropper.
On this piece of ground? I mean, the piece
Out
of
there,
ground?
out there, yeah. My grandmother, my grandmother and my grandfather owned it. If she were alive today, I'm sure she, you know, and the way she acted, I'm sure they'd throw her in an institution. She was mean. And they charged them rent and they had 7 kids. You know, you took 2/3 and the landlord got 1/3. And they had this ground here, a quarter section, and a quarter section over there. They raised these kids on 500 acres approximately.
And what kind of crops did you grow up raising?
Wheat. And they had cows, of course.
And chickens?
Oh, hell, yeah. You butcher a hog in there.
Okay, so when you were growing up in the 1930s
Uh-huh.
and 40s, you went to school here in town?
Mullinville, Kansas.
Yeah, okay. And then after you got grown, when did you go in the military?
June 16th, 1948. See, when I graduated from high school in May, well, the senior class went off on a trip, you know, went down through Oklahoma, Carlsbad Caverns, Mexico, Arizona, Grand Canyon, Rice Canyon, Lake City, Colorado, back home. That's the first time I'd ever got around from, you know, I hadn't been around the pot far enough to find the handle. But then, my dad made the decision that myself and my twin brother would go in the Navy. And of course, we let him get by with it. Instead of going to college, I did. So I left here at 17 and a half years old and went in the Navy and met the real world. It was it was tough.
Where all did you go when you were in the Navy?
A few places.
And how long were you in the Navy then?
48, 57. I was out for a while, but then I was was turned into a drunk. That isn't hard to do, because all you do is honky tonks, bar rooms, dance halls, whores, the whole shot. And so that's the life you live. You don't know any other. And really, believe it or not, I was over there in Asia so long that you forgot, you know, that there's another way to live. You know, fights, the whole rowdyism and stuff.
Did you see combat at all?
I never talk about my military. You ask me what I'm going to tell you I did when I was in the military, I'm going to tell you as a chaplain's assistant, which is a damn lie.
Okay. Well, that goes in. Were you in the...
Hold a second.
Okay.
Why don't you talk about the military?
I don't ever talk about the military.
Do you have a reason for it?
Yeah. But I served with honor. Got 6 honorable discharges and stuff. See, every time you read. But, I don't, that's part of my life that's past, and I want it to be past. And see, the only way to get rid of a past is put it with its proper perspective, it's gone. Can't go back into the same river twice. I went past it, that bridge is burned, it's there. Just like a divorce. Boom, it's over. Let it go. Period. Fini. Kaput.
Is it fair to characterize the military as something you didn't enjoy?
Oh,
You liked it?
I mean, it was military's a lot different then than it is now. These guys now are, but
It was universal military service then too, so all kinds of people came together.
oh yeah. And then now they've got all these new ways of doing things in the military, Kind of heavy you going to get in the trench and fight it. You know, or how are you gonna shoot a Navy gun 5-inch 38 standing there shooting and all hell's broken loose and there's women there with you? Hey, shit. I mean, let's face it.
But you met people from New York and
Oh,
people who were college educated, all kinds of people,
Oh, yeah, sure.
because of universal military service.
Yeah.
Aside from talking about the military, were there any skills that you learned there that you've used throughout your life?
No.
Not talking about that, but did you learn things there?
Well, everything's a learning situation. You know, you learn no matter what you're doing. You learn something you pick. You know, you read the book on panentheism. I wrote a book on panentheism. But anyway, every experience and every person teaches you something. You know about panentheism. I'm a great believer in panentheism. That's your immortality, is panentheism.
MT, did you have any notions or feelings about authority when you were in the military?
A bunch of crap. But you know, some guy said he's an officer. I met some good officers, and I worked for the grandson of old man G and Eddie that started the Bank of America. Good kid. He was in there because same reason he had me.
Did you have any of your thoughts while you were in the military, thinking about things like patriotism, America,
Oh, sure.
the way the
sure,
country?
Sure, yeah. This is the only place to live. I mean, you've been to some of these hellholes I've been into, you'd be damn glad you were in America. In other words, I've been to places where the people had absolutely no rights. We're coming to that here too.
When you're in the military and traveling, did you see things like art or cathedrals or architectural installations?
Oh, yeah, I went to see it, but I'm not too long on cathedrals because I think it's a monument to a myth.
But in terms of seeing something you would not have seen in Mullinville, or even the United States, that might have informed you later on as an artist. Did you
Oh,
see-
yeah, sure.
So the military experience was important, at least for that.
You know, it was a vehicle to get me there. I went all through Spain, and you know, I've been several countries.
Did you seek out, while you were there, did you seek out the artistic, because of the art at that time?
Or spiritual.
You want me to be blatantly blunt or lie to you?
No, I want you to be truthful.
Only thing I
Blunt.
knew in those days was carousing, boozing, chasing wild fights and stuff like that. But I was still a tender person, you see what I mean?
No, we don't. What's a tender person?
Not a tender person, another thoughtful person, considerate of others, you
Underneath,
know. Yeah. I mean, beating the shit out of a guy don't mean you don't like him. Don't mean you're mad at him.
that's very tender.
Understand each other, I guess that's true.
You never been to barroom brawl?
No, actually, you have, I haven't. I've seen a couple, yeah, from the, interest. Okay, so, were you in the Air Force, or were you just in the Navy?
Well, we started out in the Navy in 1948. Got out of the Navy in October 1957. And came back to Treasure Island, California, and joined the Air Force.
And then when did you leave the Air Force?
Didn't want to retire.
And you were enlisted in both cases?
Oh, yeah.
Not officer. Now, you had, how many wives?
6.
Okay, can you give me their names? And the names of the children?
I'd rather not.
It's a family history.
Yeah, this is strictly for documentation.
First old guy I married, his name was Lolita, I think was him, as a kid. Then I shipped out to Korea.
Do you remember her last name?
No. Snow, I think,
From where?
in San Jose.
California?
Yeah.
And did you have a child with her?
Yeah.
Yeah, and what's the child's name?
Myron Thomas Liggett Jr.
He's a minister.
Huh?
Reverend, you said?
Myron.
His name,
Myron.
same,
Oh,
the
okay.
same name.
Okay.
He's very successful.
What year was he born?
'50. We don't have anything to do with each other. Much. And I got married again in 1958 on the Air Force End. East side of hell, there's enough disc crowds and stuff around to try it. I have a son, James Wiley.
What's her name?
Pauline Whaley,
Spell her
Wait.
last name?
Whaley.
And where was that located?
She lived in Tennessee, and I was stationed in Bunker Hill, Indiana.
Let's see.
Sevierville. Pigeon Forge.
And the child's name was James Wiley,
Mhm.
W-Y-L-E-Y,
Wiley.
and he was born what year?
59.
The third?
Third kid woman, but I didn't have no kids by her name was Charlene.
R-L-E-N-E.
As far as I'll go with that one.
Where was she from?
Amarillo, Texas.
And the fourth?
What the hell was that? That was old Voodoo LaRue. Won't even talk. In other words, it was a have-to case. I had to marry her. The court said I had to marry. And I call her Voodoo LaRue, and that's as far with that one.
Were there any
Don't
children involved with voodoo?
Oh, yeah.
How many?
One,
Name?
don't know. I know, but I want to let that go. That's the thing. You know, that's the part I won't talk about, period.
The problem, MT, I'll tell you, I will respect that, we're gonna stop asking you, but this is gonna be archivally stored for 20 years. This is gonna be after you're passed on. People need to know who they're related to. You may have a child who at some point claims your relationship and you don't have it on tape. I'm just suggesting to you, you may wanna at least just
His
name
name
the
was Daniel Todd. I don't think he ever took my name. I've never seen him.
The fifth,
Fifth wife, her name was Barbara. Didn't have any kids by her. And that was in Danville, Illinois,
what year was that?
70.
And the sixth?
And her name was Patricia Ann Hop, H-E-W-P-E.
H-A-W,
P-E, no kids.
and she was from
Amarillo, Texas.
MT. You spent a lot of time in Amarillo.
What year was that? What year?
Well, but Patsy was here, but I met her in Amarillo, and she come up here. We live over here.
And you married her when?
72.
I have here, you have, 3 children?
No, I got one.
Oh, okay, but not all 5 women you were married to.
I got three kids legally in 5 Woods colts, and we'll draw the line on the Woods colts.
Okay, do they know you? Okay. Someday they're gonna wanna claim you. I bet. If you get famous. Okay. The other piece of history I wanna get just straight up is education, where you were educated?
I went to high school here. And, then after, you know, when I got started, my last wife is Patricia Ann, her name was Hop. I think her name was Pope or married. I don't know what the hell it was. What the hell was it? McCoo, M-I-C-O-U. She'd been married. And she brought 3 kids up here, and I had mine, and we set up, and but we were doing real well. She's a hell of a nice gal, you know, but like I say, you can't go back into the same river. She could walk into that door and say, "Take me back, Thomas," and I wouldn't go. Because once something is passed, you set the past behind you, keep it there, etc. But anyway, then I got to be 47 years old, and I started through my male menopause. You know, there is such a thing as a male menopause, and I don't give a shit what who says different. That is true. Men come to the point they don't know what in the hell they want to do. All men, not just me, all men. I'll say intelligent men, maybe got a bit dumbass or not. But anyway, I ran her off, and then I said, Jesus. And so the best thing to do when you're in a kind of a limbo situation, I thought, hell, I'll just go to college. And I did. Piece of cake. Only trouble with college is there's no challenge. I've never had a challenge ever intellectually.
Where did you go to college?
I went out here at Dodge City Junior College. I went over here to, I went to University of Nevada, Las Vegas, took some summer classes. Then me and Patsy decided, well, we'd give it another try in Canyon, Texas, so I went to West Texas State University. That didn't work. So I went back to Las Vegas and finished my criminal justice degree. And then I went back to Fort Hays State University and got history and political science, that kind of stuff.
Huh. So you did a lot of college for how many years were you
About
doing?
4, 3.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, I never could understand where people say that college is difficult. Can't understand that, because it's not. College is bullshit, you know. In other words, I don't about anything you want to write on except, you know, as long as it's philosophical or logic or something.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I can see that. And after you left the, between 1971 and now, where did you live and what did you work at?
I went to, after college then, you know, I said, well, then I had my shit together. I hope that word don't offend you. But I had my act together. And so then I went and got into the sawmill tool business and the lumber tools. And off and on I did that for, say, 1980 to 1987.
Were you selling them? What were you doing?
Well, we made them.
With a company?
Yeah.
And where was that located?
Wilmington, California. Custom Carbide Tool and Saw Company.
And so in 1987, so you lived out there between 80 and 87.
Yeah.
Okay, and then,
When I say live, don't get me wrong. You know, living is, you know, I had plenty of money. Month in one place, month here, month there.
and you were, so you and Patsy were together during this time, or you?
No,
You broke
I
up?
divorced Patsy. Married her in 72 and divorced her in 76, I guess.
So you didn't have a steady, you didn't have a wife after that?
No.
Okay. And then you came,
My mother died in 1987, I come back here, had lots of money, and we just buried her and I stayed. And then I started in the art business.
and what did that look like at the time?
What, my art?
Mm-hmm.
You see it over those gargoyles, started making gargoyles. Had an old horse I wanted to protect. You see, gargoyle, keep away the evil spirits. I don't give a damn who says what, they're not superstitious, they're lying to you. The most intelligent people, gamblers, are very superstitious. Most intelligent people are still superstitious to some extent.
When you, tell me the story about that, so we have it on here. I mean, you've told it to me before, but tell it for
I had
the-
this old horse, I wanted to protect her, I liked her.
Why'd you have the horse?
Just had a horse, she's a pet. Didn't ride her. One day a guy come along, wanted to buy her, and I sold her. I regret that. I get to regret that one, I wish I hadn't did, but I did, so there it is, that's back in the river again.
Had she gotten sick, or what had
No, I
happened?
just sold her.
No, I mean, when you made your first gargoyle. Tell me the story about how that happened.
I don't know, just made a gargoyle. I liked her that well, and I don't know, I've probably been to Europe and saw some gargoyles, I don't know.
Was the horse sick or anything like that?
No, oh no.
So why were you moved to make a piece of art? Why were you inspired by the horse to do that?
Well, he did, hell, I don't know, I just made a gargoyle to protect the horse.
Protect the horse.
Sure, they got gargoyles to protect churches. You got gargoyles to, that's what they started out, the gargoyles started out in Africa. These guys didn't have iron shields in those days, they had rawhide shields. And so they put a picture on this rawhide shield to ward off the evil. And then the Catholics went down there and they copied that and took it up there and put it on their big cathedrals up in Europe. But everybody's got gargoyle. Hell, the marriage ceremony's a gargoyle. Protects your wife from somebody else. That's the only reason they made the damn thing.
But the fact of the matter is, most people don't make gargoyles to their horses. And whether what you say is true or not, you did. And it started you off in thinking about art. And so it's important to us to understand exactly what you were trying to do at that time.
I
Especially,
just made that gargoyle and put her name up there and lay Chabot. Then that started that, and hell, people started looking at that sign and
were you able to envision the piece before you made it?
oh,
That
yeah,
piece.
sure,
That piece.
sure.
And where were you when that vision came to you? Were you sleeping? Were you working?
Oh, I was over there probably doing something.
Were you?
Saw a piece of metal laying there, and hell, who knows? Look here, this guy right here. Christ's sake, you don't think he'd ever plan anything he ever did? Picasso, when you're an artist, you don't plan anything, nothing. I mean, 4 hours in the future is a long time. Does that make sense?
Not quite. Need to get there. I'm interested in this because it's the moment. You know the scriptures as well as I do on the road to
Damascus?
on the road to Damascus. All of a sudden you see a vision, and they're people who have their lives changed by a moment, by an act, by something that all of a sudden reveals to them what they were supposed to do, what they can do. They found talents they didn't know they had before. It could be anything. I mean, in James.
Well, hell, I've always done as an artist. Always known that. Since I was a little kid, I used to draw, make things, you know. So, this is no sudden revelation, and the lightning bolt struck me and somebody up there said, do this, and that's not the way it happened.
Had you done any kind of this welded iron work before that?
Oh, a little bit.
Did you make up that story just to tell people something, in fact, something different than that happened?
About the horse? No, that's it, that's the way it started.
So you didn't just make up a story to tell because you get too many strangers inquiring and,
No, I made a gargoyle to protect my horse.
all right. Did it work?
Yeah.
And how did it protect the horse?
Well, it didn't protect her too well because I sold her.
That's right.
I wish I still had it, but like I say, you can't retrace. It's over. When I made a mistake, I sold the horse is gone, period. Therefore, it's gone. No need to talk about it.
I want to go before the horse was sold, though. You were crazy about the horse, it was a pet. Did you have pets when you were a kid, or horses when
Oh,
you were
yeah, dogs and stuff. Well, I made these, now, let's get one thing straight. Before I started in the art business, I was making windmills. Those windmill things is 1976.
Those ones that are out there now?
Some of them have been out there since 1976.
Why'd you make them?
Okay, that's what we were going for, so I
Yeah.
didn't know that. All right.
Yeah, yeah. When did you make the windmills?
Well, because I think, I think we're out here, we're burning all these fossil fuels, right? And everybody thinks that it's, the gasoline and the coal and stuff will last forever. This is crap. But the winds will last forever, so why not harness the winds? And that's what I'm doing.
Are those hooked up to any?
Good.
Yeah.
One of them is all I gotta do is convert it if I wanted to.
Do you remember anything specific and significant about the year 1976? Is that what you said just then, the windmills went up, or was it
My
76?
first windmill went up in 1976.
Okay, that was the bicentennial year. And there were a lot of people all across America doing things. Were you,
Oh, I didn't pay attention.
did you pay attention to that?
You were mostly out in California during that time, but
Yeah,
you were
that's
also
all
back-
over.
Okay. So you'd come here and you'd set them up and?
I'm like, I'm like a grain of sand, or anything, What the hell difference does it make where you are,
Well,
That's why I'm
physically,
not married. I don't want to settle down in one place. I don't want to. Like here, when you guys leave here today and I'm going to that funeral tomorrow, I'm gonna cut out. And hell, I don't know where I'm going to. I'm going somewhere, What difference does it make? I'm looking at a place down in New Mexico, and I'll probably go down there.
what difference it makes now is that we're just trying to organize your life history, that's all.
Okay.
That's all.
Well,
Yeah.
some people think I'm eccentric and there it is organized. Well, I'm not. This is my life. Live it. And I'm not gonna govern my life of, somebody else's song. You might play the band, I'm not gonna march to your song.
We're trying to figure out both just the chronicle, the chronology of where you lived and when and what you did with your life, but also your art, more important, actually for these purposes, your art, and the sequence through which you began to do these incredible things that you see by the road now. And what about the bird houses and bird feeders? Were those things you've been doing for a long time?
No, not really. You see, we've taken away from the bird and the squirrels and everything. We've taken away their environment, see? And they were here first. The bird was here first, and the fox and the coyote and stuff like that. So, so we've taken away their environment, so I feed them, So I decided, well, something else, a different way, and so I did it.
Talk about that differently.
Well, I decorate their birdhouse. You see, you're reading this book, you know, it's got gold, it's black, and it's got low gold labels over there on the front of it, and it says something about that, one of those paragraphs, and that man has dominion over the land, the sea, and the air, and everything in it. And this is a crock. It's got to be.
Tell me more.
Well, let's hope.
Why should I have dominion over something? Oh, because the only reason I have dominion over the buffalo is I'm smarter than the buffalo, and I got reason I develop a way to kill him, so I can eat him, or I want to dominate him, or I catch fish in the sea, or I shoot a bird just for the hell of it to kill. But that doesn't give me the right to judge. Well, you know, like man says, the prey dog. Here's a good one. The prey dog is a varmint, and so we've killed them all off. Well, the prairie dog was here millions of years first. And I've heard people say, well, a horse will step in a prairie dog hole. So what? And I've heard a guy, we have a mountain lion in this country, did have, and they shot him. And so I made the statement, I said, why did you shoot the mountain lion? Well, did you ever see what a mountain lion could do to a horse? I said, no, did you? So I believe in leaving it in the phone. The skunk, the badger. I've got skunks that live over there. Leave the skunk alone.
Hold a shot. We're
Is
rolling.
that okay? Okay.
We just took a break for a few moments and we're back.
Now, you were talking before we took the break about the right of the wild, the animals that were here before us to live on this land.
That's right.
How, that strikes me as a very religious kind of, can you tell me more about why you think that? Where those values, where that idea comes from?
The animal's got a spirit, you know, they can think, so they've got a spirit. And the only reason, do I have a spirit because I'm more intelligent than any animal? I mean, like the prairie dog. You know, they're the ones that help get this water table in here because they dig the deep burrows and it runs down, the water runs down the burrows and things like that. And so we've killed them all. And the burrow owl lived there. You know, have you ever see a burrow owl?
No, in pictures.
Well, sure you see the burrow. Well, there's no more burrow owl. And they said, well, you know, then of course, where there was prairie dogs and burrow owls, there was also rattlesnakes. You don't want to get bit by a rattlesnake, leave the son of a bitch alone. He won't bite you.
How, does that tie into your art at all, those feelings?
Sure.
Okay, tell me how.
My spirit's in that art.
Tell me more.
You'll see a lot of them down there, you know, where the woman like once hold a snake, and there's a lot of birds and libertas. I sold libertas. You see, I got a guy that he's a super intelligent guy, and he comes out here and high grades my stuff like he'd high grade up for a vein of gold. You know, he high grades it. He got libertas. Well, libertas is, you know, I made libertas, but you know, the bird of humanity can't soar to its ultimate on the broken wing of inequality. Anybody knows that can think at all. So I made libertas to carry that thought.
Can you tell me the name of this person who, how you...
Absolutely not. He's a very private person. And he protects that art.
It's someone you trust.
Oh, hell yes. And it's all my, see, every sculptor does a self-portrait. Not every sculptor. Every artist does a portrait of himself. And he picked it out. And it had nothing to do with me and the name, it had MT on it. moon tosser. He picked it up. He said, that's you. And he went back to where he was, and he called back, and he wanted to buy the moon tosser. And I said, to hell with you. And he said, moon tosser's you, isn't it? I said, you're full of bullshit. He said, no, it's you. So he come up with sufficient funds to get it.
Can you spell the name of the art? Moon tosser,
Moon tosser,
M-O-O-N.
M-O-O-N-T-O-S-S-E-R, moon tosser.
And can you tell me what year that was made?
92, 93.
And can you,
I made another in the moon.
I know, but it's the moon tosser. Can you tell me what it looked like?
I'll send you a picture.
Just generally what it looked like.
It showed a guy with a moon under one hand and a chain around his neck. And the chain was fastened to that moon, and it had several symbolisms, eyes, and the lightning bolt in his head and stuff like that.
Was
See, everybody's a moon tosser. I don't care what you are, everybody's a moon tosser. You toss around dreams. See, everybody dreams about the moon. I brought what I'm trying to say. Everybody tosses around dreams.
Was-
And to me, the moon is a symbol of dreams.
Was the piece painted?
Boy,
And it wasn't one of the rust pieces, it was a
No.
painted piece? Okay. Was that before you began making those rust pieces?
about that.
At that point, had you started to have complete confidence in yourself as an artist
Oh, yeah.
when you made that piece?
I've known my day one. I personally don't one quit whether somebody does or does not like my art. I don't care. And I hit, most artists make the mistake of asking somebody what they think of something. That's none of their business. That's mine. If you want it, there it is.
Hope it's shot.
Look,
We just took a break, a real short break because of technical issues, and rebalanced for white.
So, can you discern any phases in your work when it changed?
Sure.
Okay.
Changes
Okay.
all the time. Well, it doesn't mean your values change. You still got the same ideas, you just developed a new way, a different way to presenting it. I've gone totally, almost totally abstract.
Okay. Now, may I ask, I'm gonna ask some
Mhm.
questions here about
This is
the art if I could. I know that you wanna go back
That's
to the
fine.
land and to his family. A lot of the art that I see down there moves from one end of the fence to the other. In other words, this corner, what is this corner down here? This side is what corner?
Southeast?
Southeast corner?
Yeah,
And then it goes to the southwest.
yeah,
And then it also runs from the southeast corner over to the northeast corner.
Yeah,
And
and
then
then
around
that
the
way.
rest of the property. Do you have a vision in your mind about how the art should be installed around your property?
oh, sure.
Can you tell me about that, please?
I used to keep it kind of separated. You know, one, like politics here and love affairs in one place now. Put a piece of stickhead up there. See, I build the piece knowing what it's gonna look like against the blue sky. Not anything else.
As you, do you find yourself imagining the art around your property, from sort of like standing over it and looking down onto your land? Do you see things, do you see the whole property at one time as you think about installing the art?
Oh. I see it against the blue sky, that's what I think.
So you installed some pieces based on themes like your love affairs or animals or politics?
Yeah. Or people,
Or
favorite.
favorite people? And those places are where? Where are they located? Tell me, I know where they are, but I'd like for you to say it. Southeast corner is,
Well, I started on the southeast corner when I was, when I first got started, and then I moved west. And of course, as you get more, you become more skilled and you get more adept at what you're doing, and I changed equipment. I used to use a lot of acetylene gas, now I don't use it at all, except to bend a piece. I use an electric plasma torch and a wire welder, and I just go. Now, and then you learn things,
Was there particular
but this
significance about the
locations.
corner, about various locations?
Hmm.
So you could have started out on a different corner or in the middle of a fence and it wouldn't have made any difference?
you could have put it in the middle of the field as well.
Yeah, if I put it along highways so people can see it, if I had to do over again, I'd put it out east of town, which I will move some of it, if I live long enough. But see,
Oh.
Is
my
that-
life is kind of,
And in front of the church, is that the land east of town?
yeah.
Now, in the yard, I noticed, to my eye, and that your political art is amazingly provocative. And by that is, say, you've used symbols and so forth that are provocative symbols. You've talked about specific people, Clinton, Janet Reno, various people who were in the news. In the 1990s, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, somewhere along in there. What's the reason for that? Why did you make art that was that provocative politically?
Well, my first real hard one was that Waco, Texas deal, The only difference between Waco and Auschwitz is numbers.
All right, now Waco, Texas, just for a moment, is 1993.
Was it,
I believe it's in March of 1993.
they killed 86 people because of the way they believed. Hitler stormed through, killed 6 million because of the way they believed. That's the only reason he killed them.
How did you find out about Waco?
Hell, I don't know. It's all about it in the news.
Did you talk to anybody around Waco?
I tried it, and they thought I was some kind of a nut. They had no right to kill those people. You can believe how you want. I don't care.
So people that you talk with around here weren't shocked by what happened at Waco?
No, they thought they had a right to do it. And this is a crock of shit. If we'd have been true, excuse me, when I tell you the word Christian, if we'd have been a true Christian country, we would have censored those people that did it, which we didn't. We covered it up. Then the Lorena Bobbitt thing come along about that time, and they had a new hero, Lorena Bobbitt. Caught off some guy's penis.
Who is they that had this new hero?
The whole society, the social order. Our whole social order. You remember when the Lorena Bobbitt thing come along and it was big news because she cut off a man's penis?
It was the same time as Waco.
Yeah, it wasn't long after that. We had another one of these decadent symbols.
And you saw that happening under the Clinton administration, is that correct?
Well, yeah, it's a series of things.
Am I correct about that, or am I wrong about that? You saw that happening, the Clinton administration as being an example of that decadence, is that right?
Well, sure they are. They're decadent.
Who is?
My God. Not just Clintons. The deal with Monica Lewinsky, I mean, that happened.
Out of power. Hold tight.
We also have, there's another form which is an oral history form.
Which I didn't see.
It's in there.
All
I
right.
only have one of, I was gonna make more copies of it and I ran it off just, well, I'm not.
You do this a lot, huh?
Yeah. Now this, as I say, that was a draft we made, we decided not to, or we got it out of the book and we didn't like it. So,
Now what the hell are you looking for?
okay, I had another form that was more of just straight up oral history for the archive, but, this is fine. So this says, Okay, here's a pen.
I'm Myron, M.T. Liggett. I'm not gonna go by my M.T. Myron to you.
Okay. Is that gonna work?
I, M.T. Liggett, grant unconditional permission to D. Gorton to videotape my likeness and my voice. I further grant unconditional permission for use of my likeness and my voice for any associated with the video project or any other project as well as stock. I unconditionally permit editing of my likeness. In any matter, I unconditionally permit the use of my likeness and voice in a for-profit video production. Now, you want me to sign it?
Yeah, please.
This permission, now you understand, this is a little bit different. In other words, some of these guys have tried to get to where I would get an exclusive rights for all production, anything about my totem. We all know this is not it, right?
No, this is about a videotape that does not have anything to do with owning any of your work, has nothing to do with any legacy of your work in terms of the physical objects. It's simply a movie about you and your work.
What is the 5th?
February
Fourth.
the 5th,
4th.
4th, year 2001.
You would have sure as hell done a lot of work for nothing if I hadn't signed this, wouldn't we? How comes I didn't sign one of these last time out here?
I wasn't sure I was going to do anything with the work. I wasn't positive. And then the events came forward from the Kansas Humanities Council and from the TV station, and then I realized that there was a potential for actually making a film out of it.
You're gonna have to come over here in the camera to sign this, the witness.
Okay.
Now, Jane, what I'd like you to do with MT now is, in the standards of oral history, would you please repeat to him how this will be used exactly, and if you have permission to use, if you have his permission to use it.
Okay.
And I
Now,
would not just hold it for the museum and think that you have a larger, as a university or whatever.
right. Yeah, we'll do another copy of this.
Get close to this microphone, my dear.
Oh, okay.
Well, under the questions you asked me, aren't they on the TV? Aren't
We'll
they?
take it, we'll do it as a.
I mean, while you were sitting over there,
Yeah,
they are on this?
everything is on this, yeah.
I mean, you asked me,
Yeah, it just doesn't come out real quick. It comes out a little muffled because it comes through
I had two.
oh, okay.
microphone. Yeah, well, and now we just have the one microphone.
It didn't, but I just wasn't talking for,
We're out of time.
Oh.
We don't do it right.
Okay, now, so one part of this taping is, of all that we're doing, is for a movie and for, various kinds of public programs, maybe on the web, maybe,
PBS.
Very quickly,
PBS.
Jane, we've already done that.
okay. The other part of it is for an oral history archive that will go to the Lucas Art Center, Grassroots Art Center, and potentially other archives that will be used by scholars, which is one of the reasons we did this lengthy
Okay.
of your life history. And so I just wanted to get that on the tape, that you understood that.
I understand that, and this is going to
Do you have any
Lucas.
conditions you want to place upon your archives?
None, not that I know. I don't think any, what the hell? If I'm dead, who cares? I want it to, I know you're gonna use it like you should.
And I am Jane Adams, and the other voice off camera, who's operating the camera, is Dee Horton.
We're from Carbondale, Illinois. Jane is a professor at Southern Illinois University in Carbondale, and I'm a freelance photographer who work with Jane as a partner.